Hello, can you hear me?
Hi, I can hear you. I forgot you're in the office today.
I cannot hear you. It might be an issue with my speakers. Hang on. Let me disconnect from the monitor. Okay, will you try again?
Can you hear me now?
Yes. Okay.
Awesome. Okay.
Sorry, that was a problem on my end. All right, welcome everyone. It looks like we have some people trickling in. It seems hard to tell how many people are here. But we will give it another minute before we get started. Just want to let everybody know this is the College of Science session for our master's and graduate certificate programs. So if you are interested in programs in the College of Engineering or the Corey College of Computer Science, or the College of Professional Studies, they are having their own sessions the next couple of days. You can check out the schedule. Should be on this platform or in your email. You should have received any information about all their sessions. So just want to let everybody know that this session is specific to the College of Science. Before we get started, okay, and I'm going to share my screen. Can we see this okay?
Yes,
Okay, great. I will make it full screen and that looks all right.
it's loading.
Yeah, okay,
Yes, there it is.
great. And if I come back here, does that look okay?
I don't see a change in anything.
Okay, perfect. Just making sure. All right. Okay, it is 10 o'clock. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. We're going to kick it off with some introductions. We have a short presentation to talk about the College of Science and our programs here at the graduate level. And then we will save some time at the end to answer your questions. But first of all, I want to introduce myself. My name is Caroline Seeley. I am a graduate coordinator here at Northeastern in the College of Science, and I will pass it over to Suzette.
Hi, everyone. I'm Suzette Turnbull. I'm the Associate Director of Graduate Operations, and I work alongside Caroline Seeley for COS Graduate Admissions. So we're happy to have you here and look forward to chatting with you later.
Awesome. Okay, I am going to get started on our presentation. As I said, you can type your questions into the chat box there, and we'll save some time at the end to answer your questions. But we just ask that you put them in there. You can put them as we're going if you have any questions that come up throughout. So a brief overview of what we're going to talk about today. We'll go over some info about the College of Science, talk about our programs, some co-op experiential learning opportunities, and then get into some of the information about application requirements, deadlines, all the stuff you need to know as we're leading up to the fall 2026 term here. So, for a little overview about the College of Science, we have programs offered across Northeastern's global campus network. We have programs offered in Boston, which is our main campus here, Oakland, California, Portland, Maine, Toronto, Canada, and then some programs you're able to complete them fully online. We are an R1 Global Research Institute or university here, which is basically the highest classification of research universities. We have 25 interdisciplinary research centers and institutes, 225 active labs and research labs, and then over 300 faculty that are dedicated to doing research themselves. And at the graduate level, we offer graduate certificate, master's, and PhD programs. I will say for the purposes of this session, we will just be talking about graduate certificates and master's programs. So if you are interested in a PhD, we're happy to connect you with their team, but we're not covering those programs under us today. Within these programs, we do have around 2,000 graduate students and over 50 countries represented amongst our student population. And with that, COS supports a diverse, inclusive, and collaborative community. That's something that is very important to us and is something that is embedded into the strategic plan in the College of Science. There are opportunities to get involved with this. Our graduate student leadership through COS can participate in the belonging and inclusion committees, and the College of Science is committed to expanding these resources to offer to students across our global campuses. And we do offer some workshops and other resources available. This includes the Equity Action Fund, the small grants there, the Global Conversations Community, Heritage Month celebrations, all that kind of stuff, really committed to fostering a culture of respect within the college. The College of Science Advantage. So we have a lot of great things going on here. One of that is our experiential learning. This is, for example, the co-op program that I'm sure many of you are familiar. We have opportunities on campus for students to get involved in the experiential learning, and then again through those co-op work experiences. Want to foster professional students there. We'll talk about some of that later on in the presentation. And we do offer interdisciplinary curriculum and other research opportunities. So if you're enrolled in a biotechnology program, you'll have opportunities to take classes that fall under the bioinformatics umbrella or cell and gene therapies, and really emphasize having a well-rounded interdisciplinary curriculum. And then we are STEM designated master's programs. So if you are an international student and you're enrolled in any of our programs, you're eligible for the 24-month STEM extension and for an OPT of up to 36 months after graduation. Happy to answer more questions about that soon. And then we have a 95% employment rate on average after graduation of students who are working in the industry or working on research over the last 3 years. So a great success and turnaround rate for students getting their degree here. Here is an overview of some of the programs of all of the programs that we have offered. Something to emphasize is that for any of the applications, for any of them, we do not require a GRE. You do not need to submit GRE scores in your application. And then most of our master's degree programs do have rolling admissions. So typically, the sooner you apply, the sooner you will receive a decision for that program. There are a few exceptions to that, but for the most part, we encourage you to submit your application as soon as you can, and you'll receive a decision earlier. We do, as I mentioned, have some programs that are available fully online if that works best for you and your schedule. So the professional master's programs that we have listed here, the applied math, bioinformatics, biotechnology, cell and gene therapies, environmental science policy, and nanomedicine, all of these programs have an optional co-op that you are able to complete with the program. The other programs listed here, the other master's programs, chemistry, marine biology, mathematics, and physics, that is not an option for these programs, but they are great master's programs there. And then we have some interdisciplinary programs that sort of work in conjunction with other colleges within the university that have concentrations that are within the College of Science. So the complex network analysis, Statistics Connect, they work across colleges to be able to take a variety of classes there. And our graduate certificate program. So these are a little bit shorter. They're typically 4 to 6 graduate level courses, and they're focused on more of a specific concentration under the umbrella of a broader field. So usually students can complete this within a year or less. They are flexible and they can be stackable. So if you enroll in, say, the biotechnology program, if you're in a master's of biotechnology and you decide that you're interested in nanomedicine and you want to take classes in that as well, you can then apply to add the nanomedicine certificate and take those additional classes there. So by the time that you graduate, you're finishing with your master's and a graduate certificate on top of that. Or you can also just enroll in these programs independently of doing a master's. And like I said, they can typically be completed within a year. We do have a couple of them that are F1 visa sponsorship eligible there that you can see. And then our graduate student services team, these are our academic advisors. This is the team here, and I will talk a little bit about some of what they offer. So this is kind of a one-stop shop for graduate student services to help you throughout your entire time as a student here, from the time that you enroll through the time that you graduate. They are there to help you with your course selection and all of that throughout the process, and connect you with resources and services on campus. They advise you throughout the entirety of your program. They plan things like our orientation, the commencement ceremony, all of that stuff. And they also work to help you connect you within the greater COS community. They send out a monthly graduate student newsletter to help keep you connected. If you enroll in a program, you will be assigned an advisor within the first month of starting your classes, and they will work with you throughout your time in the program there. All right, and we'll pass it off to Suzette to take it from here and talk about some experiential learning and co-op.
Great. Thank you, Caroline. Our co-op program is an opportunity for our students to gain real-world experience and apply what you've learned in the classroom. It also gives you an advantage when you're applying for postgraduate full-time positions. The students who perform well during their co-op, they oftentimes receive a full-time job offer, which is why we highly recommend that you pursue a co-op. You'll see here a list of our programs that offer co-op: applied mathematics, bioinformatics, biotechnology, cell and gene therapies, environmental science and policy, and nanomedicine. For some programs, co-op is optional, for others it's required, but your academic advisor will guide you on those requirements. Co-op is a minimum of 4 months, but the duration is dependent on the program and the campus that you're attending. You will be assigned a dedicated co-op advisor to support you throughout the process, and you'll take a comprehensive Pathways to Success course that'll prepare you to secure a co-op. Co-op positions are typically paid, and the rates are set by the employer. At 11 o'clock today, the co-op team will be hosting an open house presentation where you can get your questions answered. So if anyone is interested in attending that, we're happy to drop the link in the chat for you to be able to access that presentation. Northeastern is a recognized leader in experiential learning and a trusted source of high caliber students. We have relationships with more than 3,800 employees in the private and the public sector across our global campuses. On the screen here, you see a few examples of those employers that are specific to the College of Science programs. So Sanofi, Novartis, and Millennium Health, those are just a few of those examples that our students get access to. As a graduate student, you have many options to help you shape your graduate student experience. It really depends on how active you want to be. There are many opportunities across our campuses to get involved. Opportunities to meet your fellow students, to meet faculty, and to even meet industry professionals. We have student organizations across our campuses, and you'll see here on the screen, these are a few that are listed. These student organizations, they have events all throughout the year, both in person and online. So if, for example, you're a student, you're at the Oakland campus, and a Boston-based student organization is having an online event, you will also be able to attend and participate. And that's how you can really leverage the global campus network. You can also volunteer to be a student ambassador to represent your program. And you also have the option to attend department social events. The departments have student listservs, and they send out information constantly, giving you all of these opportunities. For application deadlines, our next intake semester is fall 2026. For our domestic applicants across all of our campuses, the deadline is August 1st. For our US-based campuses, our international applicants who are outside of the US, your deadline is July 1st. If you're an international student currently on F1 visa in the US, your deadline is July 15th. Our marine biology program is a little bit different, and the priority deadline is January 1st. At our Toronto campus, the deadline for fall 2026 for all of our international applicants is May 1st. And then the next intake semester is spring 2027. For our domestic students across all campuses, the deadline is December 1st. For international applicants outside of the country, outside of the US, it's November 1st. For those who are currently on F1 visa in the US, it's November 15th. And then our Toronto campus, all international applications for spring 2027 entry is due September 1st. We ask that you only have one choice, but you'll submit an online application, and we'll drop the link in the chat later for you to be able to access it. And we ask for copies of unofficial transcripts from all of the higher education institutions that you have attended, a statement of purpose, professional resume, 2 letters of recommendation. With the exception is our marine biology program, where 3 letters of recommendation is required, and also proof of English language proficiency. There are a few optional items that you can also submit: additional letters of recommendation, a writing sample, GRE or GRE subject scores. But again, I like to stress that those are optional. You do not have to submit those materials. Statement of purpose is where we really get to know who you are. It's an opportunity for you to be creative. You have a lot of latitude in the information that you share with us. And so we typically ask that it's at least 500 words or 1 to 2 pages. We ask that you identify your name and the program you're applying to at the top of the page. And we also ask that you just really talk about what are the relevant programs, what are the relevant courses or projects or internships that you have participated in that have helped you to prepare for the program that you're applying to. It's really an opportunity for you to convey the passion that you have, whether it's for the program, the industry, to talk about the career path that you see yourself pursuing and how you see yourself using this degree when you graduate. It's also an opportunity for you to showcase your writing skills, which are essential to graduate school. We also give you a chance in writing your statement of purpose to talk about any areas of your application where you feel that you're lacking. So, for example, maybe you had a couple of bad semesters and your grades weren't what you wanted them to be, or you have a GPA that's less than a 3.0. Your statement of purpose is your opportunity to talk to us about kind of what happened. What did you go through? What did you experience? How did you recover from it? But just understand that this is really your chance to tell the review committee what we need to know to understand why you are a strong applicant for the program that you're applying to. And you'll also see on the right side of the screen, there are also some more questions to consider. Feel free to take a picture of the screen just so you have access to that. And the goal is for those questions to kind of help you with writing your statement of purpose. Choosing your recommenders is a very important step. You great recommenders, they're aware of your goals, your program of choice. They know you personally and professionally. They know what you bring to the program and how you have prepared for the degree that you're applying to. Good examples of recommenders are former or current boss, manager, or supervisor, a coworker familiar with your work, a professor, or a teacher. Poor examples and ones we ask that you do not submit: friend, parent, sibling, classmate, coworker, unfamiliar with your work. Think about the planning process as well. It takes time to get your recommendations in. So 4 to 6 weeks prior to the application deadline, or 4 to 6 weeks prior to when you decide that you're going to submit the application, is a good time to reach out to your recommenders. And you want to reach out to them before you send the request through the application portal and give them a heads up. Be sure that they're willing to write a recommendation for you, but also be sure they know the program that you're applying to, the ways that you've prepared, and what you've been up to since you last spoke to them. You'll enter your recommenders' emails and information in the reference section in your application, and the system will send them an automated email. And you'll be able to log back into your applicant portal and resend the notification to your recommender at any time through the portal. When you reach out to your recommenders, just let them know that they'll receive an email from Northeastern University Graduate School with a link to the portal so they know kind of what to look out for. And be sure to thank them. Thank them for taking the time to write your letter of recommendation, to agree to write your letter of recommendation. And once they've submitted it, thank them again. And then keep them updated on your journey. Let them know how the process is going. Let them know what the application decision is, and just kind of keep in touch with them throughout your journey. There are several ways that you can present proof for English proficiency. One is a degree earned or in progress at a U.S. institution. The other is a degree earned or in progress at an institution where English is the only medium of instruction. And the way that you would present that information to us is that you would upload a letter to an official letter from your university to your application portal, or sometimes in some instances, it's already on your transcript, but it has to come as official documentation from your university. And also your official exam scores from either the TOEFL, IELTS, PTE, or Duolingo English test. Please note that your scores are valid for 2 years from the test date, and they must be valid at the time of matriculation, not just at the time of application, but also at the time that you actually start the program. If you need to know the minimum recommended test scores, please feel free to reach out to us, and we're happy to provide that information to you. And as we wrap up our presentation, here are a few application reminders. Be sure to have all your materials in by the application deadline. And just remember that there are some parts of the application that will take a little bit more time and they're not under your control. Your letters of recommendation, for example. If you're someone who has to take the English language proficiency test, that's another example. So be sure to get started early and to really plan this process so that it's seamless for you. The departments will not start reviewing your application until you have submitted all of the required application materials. You will receive emails that notify you of the status of your application through your applicant portal, and the admission letters with your decision will be posted to the application portal. So we recommend that you keep an eye on your email so that you can keep up to date with the communications from us. And then most of all, enjoy the process. It might seem long and tedious, but get excited. I mean, this is really an important and wonderful step that you're taking to advance your career. And this is the beginning of really enjoying what that journey is like. So, congratulations, and we look forward to having you join the Northeastern community. And so right now we will open up the floor for questions. We ask you to drop your question into the chat box, or you can send us an email at cosgradadmissions@northeastern.edu. And so while we're waiting for questions, one thing I'll mention is that currently the application fee is being waived for the graduate certificate and master's program applications. But if for some reason you are prompted to pay an application fee, please use waiver code COS 2026. COS 2026. Okay, see here. First question, I'm trying to figure out how to address use of AI for the personal statement. So really just at the end of your personal statement, you can just put a sentence or two that just tells us how you used it, whether you used it for grammatical purposes, whether you use it to generate ideas, however you used it, just put a sentence or two just telling us how you used AI. And then please keep in mind that, the statement of purpose should be written by you. It should be original work. It's a really important part of how we learn and understand your story. So you're not relying on AI to do that, but you absolutely can use it as an assist. You're welcome.
So I think there might be some confusion. I just want to make sure that people are putting their questions in the right spot. I see some questions in the support chat and also in the Q&A session. I know this platform has a lot of different stuff, so make sure you're typing your questions in the session chat. And that might be the only chat available to you. I'm not sure what it looks like on your end, but just want to make sure we see all of your questions in the same spot.
Thank you, Caroline. Okay, next question. Thank you for all the information. I was wondering if you know if there are any types of assistantships that could help finance my graduate path. I was particularly interested in the biotechnology MS. So we don't offer research assistantships. It's not a part of the program, as these are professional master's programs. However, the biotechnology program and a few of the other programs that do offer teaching assistant positions throughout the semester. It's an application process that you will have to go through, and it's extremely competitive, but you will be able to access those postings through the Student Hub in the Workday platform. Next question. Hello, I'm Mercy from India. I did get an admit into Masters in Bioinformatics for this fall. After I accept the admit, what will be the further process? And for this, whom should I get in touch with? So after you accept, you'll continue to receive a series of emails. You'll receive resources and you'll receive guidance on the resources that you can take advantage of. If you're an international student, you will need to submit for your application for an I-20. And so that will be a very important part of the process. If you're the Toronto campus, then it's a study permit, but whatever the case may be, you'll need to get your visa. You'll also need to prepare for the course registration process. Several of the programs, especially bioinformatics, will add you to a Canvas site. And in the Canvas site, there will be a lot of information. So take the time to go through that site, read all the resources to help you get prepared for the semester in general, but definitely for the course registration process. Caroline, is there anything you'd add to that?
No, I don't think so.
You're welcome. So there was one. I'm not sure if this is for. No, I don't think that's for us. How would I go about getting a letter of rec if I plan on taking a gap year? Is that likely not for us, Caroline?
I think it might be.
Might be.
It's in the Q&A section there.
Okay. Um, I think reach out to those professors that know you, that you had a good experience. I mean, they all keep student records, so they'll definitely be able to look up your student record and know how well you did in their courses. But it really is best to reach out to those who know you. And if you haven't been in touch in a while, just make contact and help them to understand why you're applying to the program, what it means to you, what it meant to you to be in their class, what you've been up to lately, how you feel that you're prepared for the program. Just equip them with the information that they would need to be able to advocate for you. But you definitely want to choose, professors that have a positive impression of you and had a good experience with you. I hope that helps to answer your question. I am trying to look for potential places to reside during the program. Does the university have information or a department that can help me with that? Absolutely. We have. So for our graduate students, we do not have on-campus housing, but we do have an off-campus housing department that specifically helps all of our graduate students to find housing and connect you with the right resources. They're incredibly helpful and resourceful. We can drop that link in the chat.
I just did.
Perfect. Thank you, Caroline.
Yeah.
Anyone else have any questions that we can answer for you? I heard about the assistantships were not official offerings. I did call the office and they said I can find them, but I'll have to work to go out and find one. Yes, that is correct. We don't provide assistantships for our programs. Now, if you're looking for a research assistantship, you can reach out to the labs and definitely reach out to us and we can give you more information about this, but reach out to the labs. We have many labs, as Caroline talked about, at Northeastern University, but you would need to make contact with the lab and express your interest in volunteering. And so in that respect, the research assistantship would be an unpaid opportunity. But as far as being a teaching assistant, those are paid positions that are offered by the programs. And those will be accessed via the Student Hub in the Workday platform where you would apply like you would for any job. They'll tell you what all the requirements are and you'll just submit. And they'll let you know if you've been chosen to be a teaching assistant. So those two are different assistantships. I do not know if it's the right place to ask this question, but will it be easy to get a part-time on campus for international students? So our graduate students are able to work up to 20 hours in on campus during the semester on campus jobs and up to 40 hours during break. And so yes, you will be able to find a part-time job on campus, and it's a similar process. You'd be able to access those job postings via the Student Hub in the Workday platform. Okay, Kishan, okay.
I'm just including a link for more information on student employment here.
Perfect, thank you. So yeah, just to add to that, there are opportunities to get on-campus jobs beyond the teaching assistantships. Um, the campus is very much supportive of, hiring our students for many jobs across the campus. So, definitely, if that's something that you're thinking about, you can kind of broaden your perspective on, the type of job that you would like, and know that there are just many other opportunities beyond teaching assistantships. Is teaching assistantship offered for MS Biotechnology at the Root Institute? Um, I don't think that there are many teaching assistantship positions offered for MS Biotechnology at the Root Institute, but there are occasions, Ebenezer, where there are teaching assistantships where you can do them remotely. There's some online classes where they need teaching assistants as well, and so it wouldn't matter kind of which campus you're located at. You'd be able to do those remotely. Again, there's no guarantee for that. You would just need to check the Student Hub, the job portal, to see the different opportunities that are available. For applicants who didn't go straight through academically, how does admissions view time spent gaining professional experience in terms of preparedness and competitiveness? So Sarah, we ask that you submit your resume as a part of as one of the required materials. And in that, we're just looking to see what you've done, the type of experience you have that could support the degree that you're applying for, but also just to see, leadership skills that you have, other skills that you have developed that could be relevant to the program. So professional experience is definitely valuable in the process. So just please know that if you didn't go directly from your undergraduate to your master's, it does not work against you. But, it does help the review committee for our applicants just kind of connect the dots for us, kind of let us know how everything is relevant to what you are applying to. Would you add anything to that, Caroline?
No, yeah, I think that's great. I think just highlighting the experience that you have. Obviously, you'll mention it in your resume, but also including that in your statement of purpose to talk about how that is relevant to the program and what you've learned from that experience.
Excellent, thank you. What is the maximum percent of scholarship that we can expect? Scholarships are awarded by a scholarship committee, so we don't really have a sense of the percentage. They review all the applications holistically. For the College of Science, it's an automatic process. They review all the applications for that, and then you'll be notified through the applicant portal if you receive an award. How long is the average turnaround time for graduate application submissions? It really varies and depends on kind of the volume at the time. It could be anywhere for as quickly as 2 weeks or longer. But you can always feel free to reach out to us at COS Grad Admissions at northeastern.edu throughout the process, and we're happy to give you any updates. You're welcome. You all are very welcome. You're asking fantastic questions, thinking about all the right things.
I'm just clicking through the different chats to make sure we don't have any questions that we've missed that are somewhere else.
Thank you.
It looks like we're all caught up. Let's see.
What is the current score of bioinformatics in Boston? Could you please clarify what you mean by that? Current score.
Scope.
Still need a little bit more clarification, please. What would you like to know about the bioinformatics program in Boston? Okay. Caroline mentioned this earlier, that we have a 95% rate of students moving on to job in industry or in research. So the job market is still pretty good here. One of the reasons that we really recommend doing a co-op is because it positions you really well for a full-time opportunity, whether it's where you've done your co-op or someplace else. But there definitely are jobs that are available. And the other, to tie this into kind of being active as a graduate student in the graduate student experience, it also helps you to really connect with the student organizations. You want to network, build your network, attend the student events. A lot of those bring in industry professionals. And so it's a success strategy is really, again, building your network, meeting those industry professionals before it's time for you to apply to your co-op, before it's time for you to apply to a full-time position. Connect with people on LinkedIn. For several of the programs, you'll be added to a LinkedIn group, a private LinkedIn group just for your program. That's true of biotech, bioinformatics, and cell and gene therapies. And that's also an opportunity for you to really meet alumni, that are in the industry. Feel free to send us an email, and we can give you a list of the companies that the bioinformatics alumni currently work at.
I have this article I'll share with you in the chat that was published last year. So it isn't the most up to date, but it is posted by the College of Science that has information about earning a career in bioinformatics, career outlook, and job prospects on there. If you feel free to go to that link, I think there's also some information on typical careers that people pursue after the program. You can get a little bit more insight in there.
Excellent. Thank you, Caroline.
It's not super specific to Boston exactly, but definitely dives into the industry for sure.
The AMS Biotechnology, as I rightly heard, is a professional program. Please, are there opportunities for a student to do research work for publications? It's a non-thesis degree, Ebenezer. And so if you're able to secure any research opportunities, it's something that you'll have to procure on your own. It's not a part of the program. Really, the focus of the program is to kind of merge business and industry with the curriculum. There's what you call an IAB committee, Industry Advisory Committee, and they meet twice a year, and they really provide information from industry to make sure that the degrees that we're offering are marketable and are transferable, that you're getting the right skills from your program so that you can be successful post-graduation. But there really is more of a business and industry focus in our professional programs.
It seems like we have some great questions that are some program specific stuff coming in. This feels like a great opportunity to highlight that we have some sessions happening today and tomorrow that are going to be led by these programs, by the program directors. So if you have, we can definitely try to answer these as we have to the best of our ability. But to really get firsthand information and knowledge about the programs, definitely would recommend attending some of those sessions. If you have questions, if you're unsure about the schedule, I do believe it should have been in some email communication about that. But if you're uncertain, feel free to reach out to us. It looks like Suzette put a link in there. But that is really a great way to be able to get your program questions answered and talk to the program directors themselves.
That's excellent information. Take full advantage of all the sessions that are offered in the next 2 days. The program directors will be leading those sessions, and that's the best place to get some of your questions answered. And that also includes co-op. As a reminder, the co-op session starts at 11 a.m. And so I encourage all of you to jump into that session as well and just ask as many questions as you can. You'll get some really wonderful information. There will be representation in that session for all of our global campuses where our programs are being offered. So there'll be representation for the US-based campuses, and there'll also be representation for the Toronto campus.
I will also just take this opportunity to drop I think I clicked through it really fast when I was going through the presentation, but want to make sure that everybody has our email contact. That is cosgradadmissions@northeastern.edu. Feel free to reach out to us there with any questions if you're unsure about open house schedule and sessions, if you have questions about the application process, if you want to learn more about certain programs, feel free to reach out to us there. We're happy to answer your questions or direct you to the right people, but that's the best place to reach us there. We can give a few more minutes if there's some lingering questions and the session seems like it's slowed down, but want to give everybody the opportunity to ask what they're looking for. Thank you.
Any other lingering questions?
Seems like we answered everything.
Well, we just want to say thank you so much for joining us. We don't take your time lightly, and we're truly thankful that you chose to spend your time with the College of Science. Again, if you have any questions, anything that might pop up after this is over, please email us at cosgradadmissions@northeastern.edu, and we're happy to answer your questions and provide any additional support that you may need. All right. So once again, thank you for joining us, and we wish you the best.
Thank you.
Bye bye.